Hello, welcome to the Somatic Home channel. I'm Jessica, and today I'm talking about how to create a calming bedroom. So the bedroom is the most intimate room in the house. It's where we sleep, where we dream, where we share with our most beloved, and it really should be the most relaxing room in the house. What's calming to you? What color palette? What textures, what items. Something to think about. There's going to be a lot of things that you love, but if it's not calming and relaxing, it may not belong in your room, or it may not belong on display in your room. I know we all have different situations. I have to store quite a few things in my room, but I do my best to have them in the closet or away in a cabinet or something like that if you can. I mean, if it is possible in your home to just have less in your room, that can be a really good thing. So in terms of the bedroom, it's good to think about a spectrum from calm at one end to stimulating at the other. And all of your items that you have exist on this spectrum. And so you want to choose the most calming, relaxing items to have in your space. Generally speaking, less is more in the bedroom. I know everyone has their own style, from minimalist to maximalist, but generally speaking, for the therapeutic effect, for how much our systems are always reading the environment and getting cues from the environment, less is more. If you can have things clear, decluttered, and spacious, that's a very restful signal to your body. You really do not want to have screens in your bedroom, because back to that spectrum, even if it's relaxing to chill out and watch a movie at night, it's still a very activating, stimulating presence in that room. So if you can, it doesn't mean you never can watch movies, but if you can move the screens out of your room and have like the movie station in the living room or somewhere, and then you leave that behind when you move and transition into your bedroom, which is the place really simply for rest and lovemaking and cozying up and those kinds of things. So I actually invite you to consider making your bedroom an analog only room. Do you remember analog? Pre-digital? What if you had your notebook and a sketchbook by your bedside? You could write little notes to your kids or your husband or your wife. It can be a fun, new, hip thing to have an analog only bedroom where no screens are allowed, even phones, right? Your phone is living in its spot out in the living room or the kitchen, right? Where it lives, that drawer, that basket, where you put it when you come home and it has its place. There's actually probably very few things that are more stimulating and unrelaxing than staring at a blue light in bed or waking up to it or sleeping next to it. If you need to use your phone as an alarm clock, please just get another alarm clock. You can get them very inexpensively. And that presence doesn't have to be in your room. Where you sleep doesn't have to be the symbol of your connection to the entire world at your fingertips. Like, that is a superpower of our time, but does that belong next to you when you are resting, when you are dreaming, when you are at your most vulnerable, asleep and wide open? Lighting is really important in a calming bedroom. You ideally don't want to have like white LED lights. That's very stimulating, like for the brain. If you can get gold lights, if you can utilize candles, it's very just romantic and calming. And consider using not that much light at night if you can. You can get in sync with the circadian rhythms and actually sleep better, because if you're not taking in too much unnatural light, your system can naturally produce melatonin and you can get better sleep. Neutral colors if there's not some other color that you just absolutely love and relaxes you. Natural textures, plants, all these things just signal calm, rest, safety to your system. Ideally, you don't want to store much under your bed. It does seem like a very practical thing to do. And in that spirit of what we were talking about, of just spacious and uncluttered, it's actually pretty incredible what our minds pick up on when they're scanning the environment. And less, as I said, less is more. So ideally storage should be elsewhere. And another thing that the psyche can pick up on that we don't always think about is like really tall, towering furniture, or dark and kind of like bulky. And back to the items. So, and back to that spectrum of stimulation and calm. We all have a lot of things that we might very much love. And I invite you to actually look around your bedroom and think of that spectrum, because there might be the most beautiful artwork that is on the surface so brings you so much joy. But as you think of this spectrum of calm and stimulating, perhaps like an ex-boyfriend actually gave it to you. And so you love the picture and you want to keep it, of course, but every time you look at it, there's a slight, subtle thought of emotional stimulation around him or what was happening when he gave it to you. So that's actually, even though it's beautiful, more on the stimulating side. Even certain spiritual items or anything of the sort, you may love, you may adore, but if they bring some kind of really like energizing, passionate, rearing feelings, then they probably belong somewhere else, because again, you want that neutral, and you want that just calm and almost not much of a charge if you can. Things that bring you comfort certainly have their place in the bedroom. If you're having trouble sleeping, there clearly can be many contributing factors to that. But how your space and the room is set up is one of those contributing factors. There's a lot of things that can be in the space and in the atmosphere that are very engaging and very stimulating, whether you realize it or not. And by just taking a few small steps, making some adjustments, and looking at things with a new perspective of what we're sharing here today, can truly contribute to you finding better rest in your bedroom. So we're going to make a whole nother video on children's rooms, but I just feel like mentioning a tiny piece here in case you can't wait and you know your son or daughter's room needs some adjustment. One thing for the children's rooms that I want to mention here is, no matter how much they love that character from a movie, the superhero or the princess or anything like that, don't theme the room that way. I know that's sold here, there, and everywhere, all these different themes. That is so stimulating. It's stimulating, and it's almost anchoring in the atmosphere that they constantly have to be in engagement with this character. And with this, like, usually they're all really revved up too. They're like a bright pink or they're a bright red. So I would steer away from that and go back to the neutral, to having things in their place, and to just having even plants in your kids' rooms and baskets for items, and really looking at it through that calming lens, because things everywhere and all these colors and characters really don't help them calm down. Ultimately, what is your definition of cozy? That's how I invite you to envision and adjust your bedroom to feel like. Please come visit our website at thesomatichome.com to learn more and get deeper insight into our work, and read more about how powerful working with home for the nervous system is. We are happy to talk with you and support you on your journey of refining your home and finding greater peace within it. So come visit and tune in with us.